Well, I'm glad you liked those history jokes, because I got a whole mess of Thomas Jefferson stuff coming right up. Any TJ fans in the audience? Yeah, if you don't know him, he was our third president. You may know him from Mount Rushmore and the Nickel. You may also know him from his earlier work when he wrote the Declaration of Independence, which a lot of people view as a great political document, but I think of it as the greatest breakup text of all time. I think when Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, he was just reusing lines he'd used on girls he'd dumped, like, look, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary to dissolve our romantic bands and assume among the powers of earth the separate and equal station to which I am entitled. And you're fat and I never liked your mother. We hold these truths to be self-evident, Tiffany, that all men are created equal and have been given certain unalienable rights, such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of other relationships. He could have been bad at breaking up, though. Like, can you imagine breaking up with someone by handing them a letter that 55 of your friends signed? Weak. Yo, my friends wrote this letter because they said you're mean to me. Friend John Hancock especially wants us to break up. You can tell by how big he signed it. Said he'd call you later. Look, I love America, but I gotta sympathize with England a little bit, because can you imagine how much it would suck to have your ex celebrate the day you broke up every year? With fireworks and a barbecue. I mean, that's mean. I'd hate it if my ex did that. Like, yeah, remember how much Alex sucked? It's been a year, party at my place. We are blowing crap up.
So a couple years later, my daughter, she decided to decorate her room for the 4th of July, right? So she got these little stickers of the American flag, and she decorated everything she could in her room. All up and down her headboard of her bed, little stickers of the American flag. All up and down the bed rail, the footboard of her bed. She went over her dresser, her window, her mirrors, her door. Every place she put one on the end of the doorknob, little stickers of the American flag, because it was the 4th of July, and she wanted to be patriotic. Those little stickers at that time had cost me 37 cents a piece. At the post office. Those don't come back off again. We could have mailed her and the bed to the Tooth Fairy. We had enough postage to make it.
I'll tell you a little bit about me. I served my country when I got out of high school. I was in the United States Navy for 4 years out of my life. Thank you, yeah. It was good. I learned a lot when I served in the military about all the branches of the military. Like, here's something. Every branch of the military has their own acknowledgement greeting. A lot of people know the Marine Corps' acknowledgement greeting. It's not Semper Fi. If you know their acknowledgement greeting, yell it out. Hoorah, that is correct. Who knows the Army's acknowledgement greeting? Anybody know the Army's? What? Somebody? Hua. It's Hua. Hua, H-U-A, heard, understood, acknowledged, right? Makes a lot of sense. Way better than the Navy's. Ours was, hey girl, hey! Yeah.
So I just finished a 12-base tour for the Air Force. They sent me out to do 12 shows across the country for the Air Force. It was awesome going back and performing. I was in the Air Force myself, so it was awesome to go back. Let me do a check right here through how many military veterans we have tonight. Clap your hands if you're military veterans. All right.
Go vets.
Go vets. Okay, let's do a room check. Where are the Army veterans at? Army. Give it up for the Army over there and back over here. Marine Corps, where are the Marines at? Any Marines here? No, everybody stay still. Watch, once a Marine? Always a Marine. They don't know when the war ends. I have no Marine jokes. Where's the Navy at? Anybody from the Navy? Anybody serving the Navy? Anybody shop at Old Navy? And Air Force, who's in the Air Force with me? Right over here, give it up, my brother over here. We were this close to being in the military. You don't realize how tough you aren't when you're in the Air Force until you get out and you have to go to the VA to be with all the other veterans. I see a Marine limp by. He goes, Vietnam took a bullet. I see an Army soldier go by. Gulf War, shrapnel. I'm standing there with the wrist brace. But I still wanted to act like I was tough. I was like, U.S. Air Force, carpal tunnel, email, 05. I'm better now. So I go out in these 12 Air Force bases. One of the bases was so far into Texas that the nearest airport was in Mexico. They said we could fly to Mexico or drive 6 hours across Texas to go to this base. I said, I'm not flying into Mexico. I know who won the election. You're not getting rid of me like that. So we drove from San Antonio to a base all the way out by the border, and an hour away from the base, we get stopped by an immigration checkpoint. Me and 2 other comedians, I'm driving the rental car, and I pull over at an immigration checkpoint, and I quote the immigration officer. He walks up to the car and says, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" Like, are you a U.S. citizen? And then we were in Albuquerque, New Mexico, when we were performing at a base. When we got there, they briefed us about how top secret this base was. But they had the hot air balloon festival going on, and hot air balloons were accidentally floating over the base and landing. And I witnessed this, and the military police were very nice. They just escorted them right off the base. I saw this happen, and I called my uncle in Mexico. I said, there's a new way to get in. And they can't build a wall big enough for this one. Oh, that would make him mad, huh? If we had hot air balloons. What do you mean? They're floating over the wall.
I knew I needed to do something else, and wound up going into the Army shortly after high school. Tried going to college for 1 quarter, but it just did not work out. You heard me say Hulk Hogan. I've always been a huge wrestling fan. I know it's fake, but I've always loved it. But that first quarter in college, I took 3 classes. I withdrew from the first 2, and I failed the other one. But the cool thing is that when I got back my grades, I made a WWF. I was like, ooh, yeah. But I knew I needed to do something, and I wound up going into the Army. And when I was a young enlisted soldier, I was an Army medic, was stationed in Germany for 2 years at a place called Landstuhl, big hospital over there. Then I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma for a couple of years too. And I loved it out there. I love my people. I love serving. Couldn't help but laugh, though, at all the sergeants that I served with who could not spell the word sergeant. You see it spelled S-A-R-G-E-N-T, S-E-A-R-G. I'm like, how in the world can you not spell your own rank? Until I became a lieutenant. That's why I would go by LT. But I remember I never went to the field one time when I was in Germany. Then I got to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and we stayed in the field all the time. It's really cold and wet and rainy and miserable there. They carried me to the field. I was not prepared. My feet were like blocks of ice. I wanted to cry. And my Sergeant Garza, who's still a dear friend of mine to this day, he said, Fuller, next time we come out here, you go to the PX and you get you some pantyhose and you put those on, and that will keep your feet warmer, and you can thank me later. I said, Roger that, Sergeant. So I did. We got back. I went to the PX. I got me some pantyhose, got me some knee highs. I got some sandal feet for the summer. I mean, I was set for the year. However, somewhere he told me I was supposed to wear those pantyhose in conjunction with regular socks. Somehow I missed that. Because there I was running around the woods of Fort Sill, Oklahoma in combat boots and pantyhose. And not only were my feet colder, but I had blisters, and I had a run in my hose. I went to Iraq 3 times after 9/11, and we had so much support from back home. I've got some letters that I'd like to share with y'all. These came from some kids, and this is exactly the way they came. And I've got to wear my glasses now because I can't read without them. I had to actually wear glasses in the 1st grade, even though my vision was perfect. I went to the eye doctor, and he was very impatient because he sat me in the chair and asked me to read that first letter on the bottom, and I got stuck on that E. He said, give him some glasses. So I wore them for 3 years. So it's one of the bad things about stuttering there. But these are exactly the way they came. And some are funny, some are sweet, some are like, what? Because they're kids, and you really never know what kids are going to say. But the first one comes from Margaret, and Margaret says, I hope you have good luck when you fight. I don't have any brothers or sisters, so I don't have anything to fight about. If life were so simple. Now here's Cody, he's a very inquisitive young man, and here's a little stuttering awareness for you. I don't stutter when I read. It's just one of the weird things about stuttering. So Cody asks, do you have any kids? What do you eat? Are you a man or a woman? What do you rank? Do you play football? Do you sleep in a tent? Does anyone have a Porsche? No Porsches in Iraq. You know, this comes from Ryan, who's a very optimistic young man. He says, we are so glad we have such a good army. I hope we win the war in Iraq. If we don't, it's okay, because I know we will win the next war. Anybody in here serve in the Air Force? Any Air Force? Any Air Force? It's okay. I mean, it's okay. But I get it, but it's okay. Okay, usually there's Air Force people. So I've been on the search. These letters came in 2007. So I've been on the search for a long time. This comes from a young man named Corey. Corey says, I'm in the 5th grade. If you're in the Air Force, do you know my second cousin, Bucko Jackson? The search continues. Now, this is going to make sense in the long run. I need you to play along because I promise you it will make sense in the long run. So if you play along, it will make sense. So Jessica says, knock, knock. Who's there? Boo. Boo. Why you crying? It's a kid. It's going to make sense, I promise. So then Landon says, what's up? How are you? My name's Landon Smith. I'm a boy. I hope you didn't think I was a girl. I wrote him back, said, my name's Jody. He wrote me back, are you a girl? Hi, Captain Fuller. My name's Brianna. What's yours? Hi, Captain Fuller. Thank you for fighting in Iraq. What type of gun are you using? Captain Fuller, did you fight in World War II? Then Nikki says, knock, knock. Who's there? Boo. Boo. Why you crying? It's going to make sense. And then Callie, you can tell Callie's just a southern little sassy girl because she says, well, I heard you were a comedian. Well, I have a crazy cat. Now, one thing to write to a soldier 7,000 miles away, but you know, I still appreciate it. Which, let me tell you while I'm here, because y'all are new people, I got a crazy cat too at home that I acquired a couple months ago, and she's still free to a good home. 3 tours in Iraq, and I'm fine. I had to ride in a car a half hour with that cat, and I like to lost my mind. Y'all ever been in a car with a cat? It is the worst thing ever. The cat the whole time was all frothy at the mouth and stinking and smelling. So I rolled the window down as far as it would go. I have an old car. I rolled the window down as far as it would go, and it was still. So then I turned the radio up as loud as it would go. But when I did, Taylor Swift was playing, so I turned it back off and listened to the cat. Oh, I gotta be so mean. I think Taylor's awesome. This is my 13-year-old. She's made me listen to it so many times. So I was like, look what you made me do. So I know these things, right? I love having girls. I'm the only guy, so it's fun sometimes. So Cody says, in science this week, we're talking about the human body. And I hope your human body doesn't get shot, but I got homework to do. Then Seth says, knock, knock. Boo. Why you crying? Ha, 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 ha. I made that up. Maybe you can use it in a show one day. And I did right here in Provo, Utah.
Americans, I got a chance to celebrate July the 4th. Which is a weird holiday for a British person to celebrate. I had a patriotic British friend of mine get mad at me. He goes, Chris, we lost the war. How could you? I said, I love hot dogs. That holiday means different things to different people. I was at this barbecue, and this American guy comes up to me and says, hey, British guy, is today a sad day for you? I said, back then, if you look like me, every day was sad. I can't believe America and England fought a war over the price of tea. Have you guys been to Starbucks? If George Washington showed up at a Starbucks, he'd be like, $6 for a chai latte? Ah! How much for a muffin? English muffin? English! I'm off to Duncan. America runs on Duncan. Nyah! Americans, did you like my George Washington?
Tell you what, I've always been a comedian all my life. I guess I started when I was a teenager, and it was either do this or be in the military, because I really wanted to do that. I have a lot of respect for the men and women that serve in the United States. And we got anybody in here that's in the military? There he is right there. Y'all clap for that guy. Women love a man in uniform, don't you, ladies? You know why? Because it means he's got a job. And he can take orders. And eat lousy food. So I took all the tests to be in the Army when I was a kid, but they ran these commercials back in the 80s to try to get people to join, and they scared me. You probably don't remember this one, but one of them was like, this guy would go, "We do more before 9 a.m. than most of you people do all day." I thought it was a warning. Oh my, I better not go there. I don't get up till noon. You got a night shift? I can shoot people at night. It's nice that you can go out to a comedy club with the economy the way things are right now. It's ridiculous. The credit card people called me the other day. They go, "You are behind on your payment and you are over your limit." I said, "I'm real sorry about that, but my government is setting a bad example." Yeah. Look around. Those are Republicans clapping. Look at them. Where you at, Republicans? Clap. Where you at, Democrats? Clap. The rest of them are out protesting right now. I think we can take them anyway. They don't like guns. Because the government doesn't give them away free. Now we're splitting the crowd right down the middle, ain't we? If global warming is real, where are all the snowflakes coming from? That's what I want to know. These are just jokes. It doesn't matter what party you affiliate with. We love you. That Trump is something else. He's going to have a wall around Taco Bell by the time he's done. I ain't kidding. He's going to get the users of illicit substance from Colorado to pay for it.